Law enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way.
I see you entering. Take a right. You're going to proceed down the long hall, all the way to the end. You're going to go till the end where you're intersect to the classrooms. Keep going. I see you moving forward. Subject is held up in classroom 203.
Enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way.
Regina reports. Let's talk the truth. Let's hear you speak. From the river to the ridge, every voice, every street. Regina reports.
Law enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way.
I see you entering. Take a right. You're going to proceed down the long hall, all the way to the end. You're going to go till the end where you're intersect to the classrooms. Keep going. I see you moving forward. Subject is held up in classroom 203.
Enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to West Virginia Wire, where the coffee is strong and the conversations carry weight. Tonight is different. Tonight, we are joined by John Cox, and this will only be the second time he has publicly shared the story of losing his stepson in a shooting. That loss reshaped his life, it redirected his purpose, and it ultimately led him to the 3D response system. And for the first part of the live stream, we're going to give John the space to tell his story fully. We'll begin bringing your comments in a little later, so stay with us. We want you engaged, and we will get to your sorry guys, we will get to your questions tonight. You'll hear what happened, what moved him into action, how the 3D response system works, and what he hopes to see in the future when it comes to protecting our schools. This story is about loss. It's a story about resolve, and it's a conversation about protection before crisis. So, John, thank you for being here. I'm going to bring John up. I do have a thumbnail, you guys. I am behind the camera. I did want to wave to you really quickly. So, give me a second to adjust everything. And, John, thank you so much for coming in tonight. While I get him up on stage, one moment, guys. Can you
Hey,
hear me?
Regina. Yeah, I can
Hey.
hear you. And thank you for doing this. This means a lot to me.
It means a lot to us too. So wherever you're ready to start and anything you need me to pick up for you guys, we plan to go for, I think, about an hour, hour and a half. Forgive my voice, it's kind of going on me. I'm not sick, it's just going on me. So however long you want to go, however long it takes is however long we're here to listen and learn. So thank you so much. Go ahead.
Yeah, so some of you may or may not know, like Regina said, my name is John Cox. I am an independent agent for 3D Response Systems here in North Carolina, but I'm not solely doing North Carolina. I'll grab a hold of anybody in the United States that's wanting to learn more, see a presentation on our system, try to make our schools safer. So to give you a little bit of background on me, so I'm getting ready to turn 56 on March the 19th. Um, so when I was 14, 1984, I was following my granddad's footsteps and joined a volunteer fire department here where I live. So I got in at the early age of 14 as a cadet and was there for about 13 years. So during that, what a lot of people don't understand is when you're in that type of work, public safety, you're exposed to a lot of tragedies, stuff like that. Wrecks, house fires, stuff like that. And it kind of opened my eyes to our own mortality. So that being said, when I got out of the fire department, I went to work for a county fire and EMS communications, kind of in the same field, but I was actually answering 911 calls. So there again, over the phone, I'm dealing with all kinds of different medical calls, giving pre-arrival instructions anywhere from, putting a Band-Aid on a cut while an ambulance is on the way, to actual CPR instructions for those that didn't know how to do CPR on, their loved ones or whatnot. So in 2003, I had injured my back at home and had to go out for a bit, had to have surgery. And when I was able to finally go back to work, my current employer at that time was not able to hold my position. I had run out of family medical leave. But fortunately, the county that I worked for had adopted a plan or a policy the year prior that if you left on good terms and you went to work for another agency within the county, you kept your previous time. So that was in September of 03. So December of 03, I applied and got hired on at the sheriff's office with the same county. So moving forward, 2009, I had to have another back surgery and finally had to go out on retirement effective April 1 of 11. So total, at that point, I've got about 28 years in public safety. So I go through, different things. I had gone through a divorce, ended up remarrying, remarried a lady that, had 3 kids that she was raising on her own. Anyway, we hit it off, eventually got married in 2014. Moving forward, we had just bought a house. Everything was fine. Teenage son was doing teenage son stuff. So he eventually moved out and was living with a friend of his. So I had gone to pick him up Christmas Eve of 2018. So he spent the night with us Christmas Eve and, or stayed with us Christmas Eve. And then, of course, Christmas Eve night, got up Christmas morning, done the typical Santa stuff for his younger sister. Had his grandparents over for breakfast and whatnot. It was, typical Christmas day. And so I'd asked him about lunchtime if I said, what time do you need to go home? And you need to go home tonight or can I take you back in the morning? He said, no, I need to go back tonight. I'm going to a friend's house. I said, okay. So what time are you going to leave? He said, how about 6? I said, perfect. That's fine. So we left our house at 6. Dropped him off at 6:20. So during our 4.5, 5 years of me stepping into his mom's boyfriend to eventually stepdad, there was some lines that I had to learn not to cross. Was trying to be the stepdad and not make anybody mad or whatnot, but we had kind of a rough relationship. His dad was not in the picture at all, so this was new to him, and I understood that. So anyway, when I dropped him off at the house that he was staying, and you're gonna have to excuse me.
No, you're fine. Do you need to take a second? You're
no,
good.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
I've got a needy Shih Tzu that
Yeah, I thought that was a dog. I was like,
Yeah.
I kicked our Belgian Malinois out. I said, "Get out! Don't scratch on the door." So Rosie's at gymnastics. I said, "This is a very important night. I need everyone to keep the peace around here." So everybody, thank you for joining. Please, if you would kindly retweet. If you guys, we are streaming on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, as well as YouTube, the Rumble platform, and Facebook. You guys can comment from any of those platforms. He's going to continue the story. Let us know, pretty much his story, his testimony. And then we left off where, teenage boys, you transition from role of to stepdad actually. And so
Yeah.
continue your story.
Yeah. So anyway, I had dropped him off at 6:20. It's weird that I remember all these times to the minute, but it was a mild winter or that Christmas, and I had my window down. So anyway, he puts his stuff down inside of the garage door, and he comes running back to the car, and I thought he had forgotten something, but he leans in and he hugs me, and he said, "I love you." I said, "I love you too." That was the first time, and it was the last time we said that. Um, so I go back home, finish cleaning up and whatnot. We went to bed probably like 11:30 that night, and my wife was laying there, and her phone started ringing right just after midnight, uh, and it was his best friend's mom, and she's like, I just don't feel like talking to her right now, so don't answer. So she left the phone alone and started ringing again. I said, well, you might want to answer it, and that's when our life changed. My stepson and his best friend um, had been shot. Um, so she's a nurse at that time, me coming from law enforcement. So she's on the phone with the hospital, explaining to the charge nurse. She said, I know you can't give me names, but we had been told that there was one DOA on the scene and then one had been transported to the hospital. So we didn't know who was who at that time. But we work through that and we get in the car, and I'm being told to come to the police department, but she's being told come here to the hospital. uh, so I had told the watch commander with the police department, I said, if you want to talk to me, meet me at the hospital. So anyway, we get to the hospital, and they take us into like a family waiting room, and we're in there. I don't know, we were probably in there 15-20 minutes, and the door opens, and in comes a doctor, in comes a nurse, and I'm looking at name tags. Having been in, doing this for 28 years, I'm not looking at people, I'm looking at name tags.
Yeah.
And so then a very nice gentleman walks in a three-piece suit, and I don't even remember his name, but I remember seeing Chaplain, and I knew. Um, so yeah, he didn't make it. Um, so we talked to the doctor and whatnot for a bit, and uh, we get home, and then I'm being called by the detective. So they're digging into that. So moving forward, um, one of the things that I try to really really preface, and it's almost like sometimes people don't get it, but we have gone through something that no parent should ever have to go through. We are now a member of a organization, a club, whatever you want to call it, that comes at a very expensive membership price. Um, Not only have I lost a stepson, a son, but she's lost her only son. Um,
Mm.
and not that that's bad enough, but Christmas now to us has a totally different meaning. And that has we eventually separated. We were separated for 2 years trying to work on things, but we just we had a mutual understanding it wasn't going to work. So we did our divorce, but I still talk to her because of Ethan. And
Mhm.
actually, I was just texting her right before we went live. But anyway,
So that was his name, Ethan.
yeah. So you know, I I come into 3D response by accident. I had a Twitter account. I never messed with it, but when it switched over to X, I thought, well, let me see what's going on. And I joined the space one night, and I come across 3D response, and eventually, started talking to the president, Jason Polinsky, that most of you may know or may know if you're on X. And he's got over 30 years. Well, he's got 30 years of law enforcement experience, and his partner, Peter Mados, has 30 years of law enforcement experience. And what I learned was that 3D response takes a total different approach at school safety. We have metal detectors, we have AI weapon detection, and I'm not. When I first got into this, I thought that was the cat's meow. But when I start looking at 3D, and I've heard this from more than one person, and I'm in the same boat. It took me 3 or 4 times to understand what was being told. It is a comprehensive, multi-layered system. It is a response type system. It's not a preventative system. It is, well, I guess part of it could be preventative, but as it's designed, it's a response type system, and that needs to be understood. What also needs to be understood is we're not metal detection, and we're not AI. We have no technology
I'm
in
sorry,
3D.
John.
No,
Can you
you're
hear
going.
me? Can
Yeah,
I jump in real quick? So when he talks
absolutely.
about now that you're getting to the 3D response system being, a protection system, proactive, not I forget the word you use, forgive me. But so you guys saw in the intro the trailer that was played, the intro video that played twice, that was part of it. I also have that video, so we'll play it later on again during the video. And he mentioned Jason at 3D response. I'll show all those X, Twitter, whatever you call it, platforms as soon as he's done. So keep going. I'm sorry about that, and I was messing up the layout, so forgive me. Go ahead, John. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine. So when I start looking at this, and having come from a law enforcement background, a public safety background, I understood it. I'm also one of those that was prior to uh, being aware of 3D response. I was also one of those that was uh, I don't want to say 100% in favor of arming teachers, but I was on that side of the fence of arming teachers. Um,
Yeah.
and then learning more about the system, I was like, yeah, that this is what's needed, and we're throwing money away that on false senses of security. So, Jason and I talked. I'm like, he this is not an overnight deal. They've been working on this for now 12 years. When I jumped on, it was 10 years. The system is patented, and we're already in 19 schools in Minnesota, and had 3 more signed contracts since Thanksgiving this past year after the Annunciation shooting. But I really got behind it, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell everybody that I'm one of those people that if I don't believe in something, I'm not going to badmouth them, but I'm not going to talk about it.
Right.
I'm not going to get behind it. And when I see this system just through the website, I'm like, yeah, this is what's needed. And I jumped in with both feet. Um, Jason flew me out January of last year, so I'd been with them for a year. And I also want to say that to date, I've not been paid anything. I'm that into it. Like, this is what's needed. But anyway, he flew me out January of last year, and I toured 3 schools in the Lakeville school district in Lakeville, Minnesota. Toured 3 schools, and I actually put my hands on this system. And pardon my language, but I was like, hell yeah, this
I'll
this
say it
is
with
it.
you. Hell yeah. When I saw the trailer, if I
This
could
is
just
it.
interject here, you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Look, I'm gonna show my face on this. Anyway, so I was Thank you, Joe Lanou and Jason with the 3D response system. You guys, I'll get all of that information. So I was invited onto the grand jury show, not this past Friday night, but last Friday night was episode 36. You guys go check out Night Court, the grand jury, YouTube, X, Rumble, everywhere at Joe Lanou. I'll give all that information. But when I saw, because they played that trailer, they played the package video, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
And I was like, and he explained it, and he started out with the statistics of the fire code, and once that was implemented into legislation and all of that, and then I watched the video and I was like, holy man, this is wild, this is awesome. So I'm gonna let you keep going and continue. The dog's about to bust down the door, so keep going.
I've got a Malinois X, so I understand.
You understand. And we have a pit bull, so it's not our pit bull, it's not ours. Lisa, I love you, but that's not our dog. All right, here you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, so anyway, I go out there and I literally put my hands on the system.
Okay, hold on.
I pull the panels out. In full disclosure, what I talk about in these spaces or these podcasts is public information. It's on our website, 3dresponse.com. I'm not talking about any of the in the weeds stuff or any of the stuff that I'm not supposed to be talking about for obvious reasons. But the stuff that I do talk about is on our website. So anyway, I'm pulling out ballistic rated panels, and one of the rooms that I walked into, it was perfect, and I sent Regina some pictures. She might be able to show them, but there was one room that actually had two entrances into the room, and even though I had heard it, I didn't quite understand it until I saw it. We go into, say, a classroom, and we create a safe space for the kids and the teachers. And what that means is that when the system is activated from the get-go, you push a button. So think about it like Regina just said. The fire alarm system. Every school has to have a fire suppression system or a fire alarm system before they get a certificate of occupancy. And our system is based kind of on the same thing, just for a different threat. So we've got a police button. It says police on it. So when you push that button, it does a lot of things. If you remember back, I was explaining the system is multi-layered and comprehensive. So when you push that button, there's a lot of things going on at that particular time. One, you're sending a message to law enforcement of the address, the school name, and the location of the activation, all at one time. You're not having to worry about where's my phone as a teacher. You're not having to worry about where's my phone. You get an adrenaline dump when all this happens. So if you've got a passcode on your phone, what's my passcode? If you're shaking, is your facial recognition going to work? I know a lot of schools are using these apps from other companies. So you got to log in. You got to open the app. I've never messed with it, so I don't know what all's entailed in that. But it's a little bit of a lengthy process where you just push a button and it's done for you. You don't have to think about the address. You don't have to think about your room number. You don't have to coming from a 911 dispatcher, telecommunicator. When you call 911, if you've ever had to call 911, you get a lot of questions, and that can be aggravating, and I totally understand it. So push a button and, that's done. That part of it's done. So at the same time, we, in our installation, we've got magnetic locks on the doors. And so when you push that button, say in room 101, so you're getting, police is getting, 1000 whatever street, ABC High School room 101, police needed. That's what pops up with them. At the same time, the door is locked, and there's 1,200 pounds of magnetic force put on that door. So they're not getting in. That door is also a high
Do you want
level.
me to play that as you're describing that? I
Yeah,
had to run
yeah.
out and take the dogs, and I'm so sorry because
No,
I was
you're fine.
listening to it and I've watched that so many times, and I was like, I should be playing this on mute as you're talking over it. So give me 1 second. Keep talking. I'm going to
Okay,
pull it
yeah,
up.
yeah. So the door is also it's a higher level ballistic rated door. We normally talk about it. I don't like talking about some parts of it, but it is a ballistic rated door, a high level ballistic rated door. So the threat is not going to be able to gain entry to the room, and they're not going to be able to shoot through the door. So with the panels that I was talking about, and I think Regina, I sent you one of the pictures. It was it's got like the two entrances on each side, and then it's kind of like the wall. So you pull those panels out, and you have basically given them cover, concealment, and communication.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm gonna pull it up right now.
okay,
I was trying to mute it out, and I was trying not to be on stage with it. So here we go. You ready, guys?
yeah,
So
do
you
whatever you
can,
need to do. Yeah,
yeah, you can talk over it, and let me remove this. Yeah, we okay. So you can talk over it. It's on mute.
okay.
There it is. Go ahead.
So yeah, you're basically creating a safe space with cover, concealment, and communication. There was a study done not too long ago that when a police officer is involved in an officer involved shooting, if they have cover, concealment, and communication, they have at least an 83 to 85% chance of survival. That's the police button I was talking about. And there is audible and visual notifications. That's the pull out door that's ballistic. It's hidden in everyday use. You don't really know that it's there. Those are the barn doors that are actually dry erase boards, as you can see.
That is so
Uh,
cool.
we do window enhancement, and that is not bulletproof. It is window enhancement.
Oh, okay.
That
What does
was
that
one.
mean? Can you explain to people what window enhancement
Absolutely.
is
Yeah.
versus like bulletproof?
Yeah. So a lot of people ask, well, why don't you do bulletproof glass? That would be so costly. You're just going to cost yourself out of the whole system. So what the window enhancement does, they're still going to be able to shoot through it, but they're not going to be, the glass is not going to shatter. And that's what we've seen in several school shootings is they shot the glass out, say in the foyer or the vestibule, whatever you want to call it. They shot the glass out and then walked through the glass frame. This is not going to shatter. Um, so that's part of the system as well. So, but what I was saying about the officer involved shooting, so if the officer has the cover, concealment, and communication, they've got about an 85% chance of survival. You take that away from them, their chances decrease to 18%. So there lies the question: well, why are we not giving the kids and the stakeholders the
Mhm.
same tools, minus obviously the weapon?
Right.
It's, I mean, sorry, it's a no-brainer. It's simple, stupid. Push a button and pull your panels out, and you are protected.
Right,
Um,
right. Like
and
stop, drop, and roll, right?
right, yeah, run, hide, fight does not work.
Okay.
Um, it has. I mean, I know it's being taught. Jason used to teach it, and he's been very vocal that he hates it. He will no longer teach it, and that's coming from a 30-year veteran law enforcement officer. He will not teach it. It's gotten people hurt, it's got people killed, um, and it puts a lot of pressure on the teachers. It's like, okay, well, do I send them to the left? Do I send them to the right? Do we stay here? Do we go out? And then, their decision ultimately, whatever the outcome may be, could be terrible. So this basically takes that off, the teachers and the staff as well. But so they're safe. So one of the things that I done when I went to Lakeville, I walk in this room and I'm seeing the system, and I think I sent you a picture of this from me.
You did. I can
I
pull it
was
up
out
if
in the
you want me to.
hallway. Yeah, if you can.
I
If not,
certainly can. I have it on the give me 1 second. Let me
okay.
address so I don't get messed up. I'm turning my camera off, you guys. I'm not showing my face to y'all anymore. Only Mr. Cox tonight because we've had lighting issues, camera issues, but hey, we are here. So thank you guys for joining us. All of you that are reposting Joe Lanu, thank you for reposting the live stream here on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter. So let's get to this. I'm trying to learn how to navigate this seamlessly. So thank you because you're actually helping me out. You're giving me an opportunity to just get behind the scenes, play a producer role, and let you have the floor. So give me one moment and we'll pull those assets up.
Okay. Yeah, you're fine. And interrupt if you need to. You're not gonna hurt my feelings. So anything, one of the way this classroom
Thank
was
you.
was designed was is you've got the door. If you're in the hallway looking in, you've got the door, and to the left of the door is a panel of glass that's, I don't know, it may have been 14, 16, maybe 18 inches wide. Um, so I'm looking in, I'm I'm thinking this out. I'm thinking this system out. So I'm the bad guy, and I'm standing out in the hallway where I can see in the classroom. I can see pretty much about 85, 90% of the classroom.
Is
Um,
that the right picture? Which one do you need
no,
to
okay,
see?
so stop right there. All right, so let me stop. So that's in the office. So you're going to see two buttons there. One is the police button. The other one is a button that's called SIS. It means Suspect Identification System. So if say the secretary or whatever is in the office and somebody walks into a vestibule and she deems them as a threat, um, you better be sure because what's getting ready to happen is going to be a mess. She
Mhm.
deems them as a threat, so she opens the big one, the big button, hits the police button, and then she'll hit that other button to the right, and that's the SIS button. And what that does, it emits a bright yellow powder out into the vestibule. And whoever's out there, they're getting marked. So
Mm.
even if they leave, they're marked.
So
Um,
it sprays them like if someone robs a bank and they have those
exactly.
dye packs in there, it's gonna spray them and mark them. Wow. Is it a colored marker? Is it something that's only detected by certain
No,
lighting?
it's bright yellow.
It's for everybody
Uh,
to see.
yeah.
Good.
Actually, Pete, one of the owners, he actually was the guinea pig when they done that. And when he walked out, yeah, you can see yellow footprints. Uh,
Wow.
but it basically, he couldn't see anything. He couldn't see in the glass. So that's a deterrent on itself. It's like, oh crap, my plan just got thwarted, so I'm running.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that's a deterrent in itself. So, but yeah, both of those buttons are, normally placed in an office. But anyway, I was standing out in the hallway, and I'm the bad guy. I'm looking in, could see 85, 90% of the room. So I walk back in, and I pull one of those panels out. I think it was about a 24-inch panel. Think of it as a pocket door. So it's recessed in the wall. The facing blends in with the furniture. Uh, you really can't tell unless you know what it is. And that's one of the things that a lot of parents and school administrators talk about is, we don't want our schools looking like jail and prison cells. Well, our system does not. That's a dry erase barn door right there, and it's level 7
Yeah, and I
ballistic
just
rated.
yeah, and I just showed them the if I could get this thing to act right, it's making me mad. I just showed them the dadgummit to the devil, it just went off the screen. Hold on a second, John, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
you're fine. So when I pull this panel out, I walk back out. I stand in the exact same spot. In my view of the classroom, I could maybe see 5% of that classroom.
Mm,
Um, I was I knew it was going to make a big difference, but I did not realize how big of a difference it was going to make. I was like, holy cow. Because you can't shoot what you can't see.
right.
And even if you do the well-known uh, spray and pray, you're still behind, or they are still behind ballistic rated material. And again, that some of those can be used in everyday teaching as a dry erase board. Um, so there's that. But
Right.
I couldn't see into the classroom. I could see very, very little into the classroom. But where the kids and the teachers would be in an incident, you cannot see. The wall, say, because it was in a hall, I was in a hallway. The wall's ballistic rated, so they're safe. Uh, and that was one of the things we look at every school shooting and see where our system would have either prevented loss of life or at least mitigated it. Uh, I know the Annunciation shooting in Minnesota. Um, we looked at that. I think we did come up with the decision that our system probably would not have played a part in that. Just being totally honest with you, but
Are
uh,
you, are you good with me, are you good with me showing these images up
yeah,
on the
yeah. What
screen
I
and
think,
then you
yeah,
can describe them? That way, I'll do it one at a time and then describe them one at a time
Yeah.
because you just described it. That way they'll get a visual aid, and then I can just take it all down at one time, and I won't. I'll quit
No,
messing up the
you bring it up,
format.
however, and we'll talk about it.
Yeah. So let me share this screen. So I'm gonna pull up the first one. You already described the button. So we're gonna pull up this
Okay.
one. And that looks
Yes.
like a dry erase board to me.
So yeah, that is a dry erase board. So that's our barn door. So that is also ballistic rated. So that's it closed. That picture was actually in what we call the command center. A lot of schools now have cameras. So in this particular room, which was just off from the office, is where their camera monitors are. So you basically have a command room. That entire room, office, whatever you want to call it, is basically like a bank vault.
Right.
It is ballistic rated. So
Oh, I forgot to tell you. So when you're ready for me to go to the next image, tell me to go to the next image so we're on
okay,
the same page. I'm so sorry. Keep
no,
going. So
you're
you
fine.
said it's like a bank vault and you can't see in. I mean, and this is so fascinating. Keep going.
Yeah. So that's the barn doors. That's those panels are ballistic rated, and yes, you can use it as dry erase board. You can go to the next one. I think that's with it open, looking outside, if I remember. Yeah, so that's it open, um, out into the parking lot. So you can see, you can have it open, during the day. And if something goes down, it's easily closed, and really can't tell it in the picture, but there's I think I think they call them like cane locks or something like that. They go down in the bottom, and you drill a hole
I see
into the
him. Is
bottom.
that it right there?
Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah,
Yep.
you just
I
drop them
do
down in
see
the
it.
hole, and it's locked.
Yep.
Uh, yeah, that's the barn doors. All right, so the next one is the magnetic lock on the door. That's like that's activated when you push the button. 1,200 pounds of magnetic force. Uh, and then I think I sent you the one with it on the door, but it's just a metal plate. So they're not getting in. That's again 1,200 pounds of magnetic force. They're
Can
not.
you give me a second, John?
Yeah,
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I need to make a disclaimer here, a public service announcement. You guys, I never ban comments. I never put people in timeout unless it's something like this. So, you guys, please be respectful coming in here. I really didn't think I was going to have to say it when I scripted out the intro. I thought, you know what? I'm not going to treat people like third graders, but I see a couple of comments in there. Please, this is a very serious matter. If you're not interested in it, trust me, I'm just a humble little YouTube channel. Go to another one. We appreciate you coming through. We don't appreciate those comments. So, without further ado, Mr. Cox, I appreciate for the rude. I apologize for the rude. Whoever they are, we're not easily shaken here, so please go troll somewhere else. Thank you, and I did put you in timeout. You're welcome to come back if you can behave yourself. All right, without further ado, keep going. I apologize. I never thought I'd have to make a statement like that, but let's.
no, you're fine. Yeah, magnetic locks. Yeah, yeah. So that's activated when you push the button. So again, they're not getting in. They're not able to shoot through it.
Can you hear me? I'm so sorry. So
Yeah.
I was trying to show everybody, and I'm doing terrible at this job. So the button that he was talking about, this is the button that he's talking about. Then when you push that button, and then we go to the next picture, the magnetic strip, it activates this thing right here.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So
And all of that has redundancy built in. One of the questions we get is, what if the power goes out or something like that? There are
mhm.
measures in place. They are backups. That's in the weeds. I do not talk about that. We don't talk about it. But there is redundancy.
What does
So yeah,
redundancy mean?
there's
Oh,
backup. There's backup.
backup after backup.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now this is another button. Now, how many buttons
So
are
that's
throughout?
actually in a classroom.
Okay.
So there's, when I mentioned a while ago, so, during an incident, you've got cover, concealment, and communication. There's your communication. That's your police button. That, like, again, that was
Like your panic button, really.
that's in a classroom. So you lift it up, you lift that clear lid up, and that actually sends an audible signal, and then you push the button, and that's when the system is activated. And then there, the teacher has a phone, they can call whoever they need to. So there, what you're looking at is one of the pocket doors recessed. Uh, the vendor we work with there, they work really, really good with the school in trying to make our stuff blend in with existing furniture or whatever the case may be. So again, like if you don't know what that is, then you know you don't know
You're
what it
not
is.
gonna try to get past it, yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's it recessed when it's not in use. So the next picture is with it pulled out. Now that side of it is just, the back of the material. But like I said, there are some that are actually dry erase boards that you can use. And in some cases, I don't know if I sent it to you or not, but in some cases, hold that picture right there. In some cases, there's actually panels that are on hinges that you can, if the structure doesn't allow for it for the pocket door, we can go in and put in the same kind of panels, but they're on hinges and they can be, closed flat against the wall or they can be pulled out. All right, so this is the classroom that I was talking about. I'm actually out in the hallway looking in, and you can see how much of the classroom you can see. Um, I mean, pretty much. I mean, if you move around, you can see the entire classroom except for what's on the far right.
Mhm.
And if you can go to the next one, I think is the one
Yep.
with yeah. So I walked back in and I closed the panel, or I opened the panel, I should say.
Oh,
And
wow, I
so,
see.
so now you can see what I was talking about is,
Yep, right here, guys.
it
Right
closed.
there.
Yeah, it shut down how much, I mean, it was unreal how much of that classroom. So if during an incident, everybody's, back in that area. So they're protected. They're,
Oh,
w-
yeah, totally.
yep.
So
So
now
you've
this
got
picture,
got the door, you've got the magnetic lock. That's a picture of the door. See, it blends in with
I do.
the regular
Mhm.
furniture.
And
You
is
don't
that the lock right there?
no, the lock's at the top.
I mean, the lock's at the top, that's right. Right here, right here.
Yes,
It's right here, I
yes,
see it.
yes.
Mm, yep, yep, yep,
Yep.
yep. Okay, cool. Let's get you back on the screen so I don't, jambalaya this up. Good gravy. We've got some trolls in here tonight. I don't think I've never had my YouTube channel trolled like that, but hey, no worries. We love the trolls
Well,
too.
I mean,
So let me
they
get
may,
you back on
they
here.
help. They may help put some money in your pocket. I don't know.
I don't actually, I'm not, I mean, I am monetized, but I do have stuff turned on, but I don't really advertise it. Hold on one second. Let me get you back on screen here.
Okay.
Maybe if I, and you'll be good. Go ahead. Keep
Okay.
going. And you guys, so let me just break in here for a second. So you guys, we are coming to the top of the hour almost. John's going to keep going for a while. And then whenever you're ready, I think we said we go for about an hour and a half. So we're going to probably do a hard stop at 8:30. You guys, please put your comments and questions in the comment section. And I will be displaying John's information. Everything's in the link of the description on each platform. So you guys make sure you reach out to him, the 3D response system, and follow him and check all this stuff out. The websites, all of it, everything he's talking about. I mean, he's given a lot of information, but it's a lot of great stuff too. So without further ado, continue on. I'd say for about 15, 20 more minutes if you want
Okay.
to. And then when you're ready, just say, hey, I'm ready to take questions or let's get out of here. Whatever you want to
Oh,
do. This is your show.
no, we're good, and this
Okay.
is actually working out good.
Okay, great.
So anyway, that's the 30,000 foot view of 3D response. Another part of the system is one of our partners is also mental health professional. Michelle Frownshoe, she's the president and owner of Life Development Resources. She is accredited through the FBI on active shooter threats and identifying them. So with that part, we also help the school or school district with any of the students or anybody for that matter that they may have a concern about. Uh, Michelle and her team will go in and work with school administrators in trying to identify these people and if they potentially could be a problem later down the road or even immediately for that matter, they work with whoever they need to work with and coming up with a plan and getting that person the help that they need and doing whatever needs to be done. So you've actually got true certified mental health professionals included with 3D response, and that's part of the system. It's not an add-on or anything like that. That is part of 3D response. So in the beginning, we come into the school, we do a pre-assessment and give them our idea. If it's a new school, we'll work with the architectures. If it's an existing school, we've got our own construction people that we work closely with. Obviously, with an existing school, you're going to have demolition, install, and then rebuild. Or with the new school, it just goes in while the school is being built. But we understand also that with schools, money is always an issue. So we don't put our system everywhere. It's not needed everywhere. We only put what's needed where it's needed, if that makes sense. Part of the system is
Yep.
we've got lanyards. So if a teacher or somebody like that has lunchroom duty, or they're outside with the kids, they've got a lanyard. And this would have, and I'll get into this in just a minute, but like the incident that happened at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, one of the teachers that was out on the playground, she didn't really have anything when, she heard the guy wreck, not knowing what was going on. And then when she first started hearing the gunshots, she could have activated, the 3D response system through her lanyard. So we provide lanyards. And then we do on-site training with existing school staff. And we also train law enforcement on the system because it is a different approach. So Joe Lanou was awesome in putting this show together. And I said earlier that we look at each school shooting, and had our system been installed in Uvalde, there's not one life lost, not one.
Wow. And I want you to remember to tell everyone, I'm sure you did. John, I just want to tell you I have done a horrible job at doing this, and I would have fired me
No,
if I was your producer. But let me say, you are a well-oiled machine. Joe Lanew's a great guy. Jason's a great guy. That whole crew over there. And when I tell you, I am blown away. I'm able to sit back here and relax and listen to the story and learn. So keep going. Keep telling everybody. And you guys, please share this information out. Go check the videos out. We will play it before we close this live stream. In fact, I think we'll play it before we start pinning comments and taking questions. And let me get rid of any. Oh my gosh, Bullish, thank you for coming through. Finally, we've got some great people coming through. Essential to Save Lives. Thank you for what you're doing, John. Thank you so much. So, yeah, we had some trolls in here. So, we are so grateful for the ones that are coming through and supporting. So, John, please
yeah,
continue on. Let's keep going for about 20 minutes more, as long as you want to go. And then we're going to close out at 8:30, you guys, but you and I can talk afterwards.
okay, yeah. So if our system had been installed in Uvalde, there's not one life lost. If you go back and look at the timeline, at 11:28 a.m. is when they first heard the first shots, and there was I think she was a teacher assistant or after school coordinator. That's what it was. She was outside and actually went to help because the guy had wrecked, and then saw him come out with a rifle and started firing. So at that point in time, she ran into a classroom and told the teacher to call 911. So you put our system in, you push a button. Teacher does not have to call 911. She can focus
Right.
on her kids, getting any stragglers in the hallway.
So, how
Get,
much time is that saved if she does not have to make that call about? That's
it was right at so he started firing at 11:28, and he walked into the school at 11:33, I think it was. So within 60 seconds of pushing that button, all that other stuff is done. Law enforcement's notified on the way. The school's in lockdown. So when he walks into that school, he's walking into a ghost town. There's nobody. There's nobody in the hallways. If you go back and watch the testimony, that's I guess now it was a month ago. Uh, the teachers were, they were being asked what was going on. There were teachers that they didn't know if their door was locked.
mm,
Uh, One teacher had the keys to her door, and she didn't think she was going to be able to get to the door fast enough to lock it before he got to the door. This particular teacher Fortunately, he didn't come in her room, but that was her fear. There was another teacher that they were tying extension cords at the top at the door closure, thinking that was going to keep him from getting in. They had no cover, they had no concealment. They had a bookcase or something that had like a black drape or a black curtain draped down, to cover like the books and whatnot. And they were hiding behind that.
Oh, wow.
They were doing what they could. And
What they could, right, with what they had.
one teacher summed it up. She said, "We were sitting ducks."
Mm.
They were stacking desks 4 high, thinking, or with the hopes that that was going to stop them from being shot had he come in there. Again,
Mm.
with our system, I mean, yeah, that's a scary situation, obviously, but at least
This system changes
she
the
would not,
whole game.
she would not have had those concerns. And as we all know, or if you've been keeping up with it or kept up with it, he was able to walk into a classroom, and that classroom was his until it wasn't, until he said so. So even with I'm gonna be nice, even with the poor response time, 77 minutes that it took
70
law.
wait, hold on. No, let that marinate for a second,
Yeah.
and I don't think that's rude. That is a very
Oh
poor
no, it's not rude. It's a fact.
this is what I'm saying, though, that's we need people to understand 77 minutes, so had that button been in place, right, what would that have changed the response time? Was it due to we're not even gonna get into that. What I'm saying is 77 minutes is egregious, so keep going, but this response
Well,
system.
yeah, but that's my point. Whether it took them 5 minutes to respond and do something, or if it took them 77 minutes to do something, those kids would have been safe. Scary, absolutely, but they would have been safe.
Safe.
Yep, they had everything: cover, concealment, communications, and they're behind ballistic rated materials. And at the same time, it also forces a confrontation between the shooter and law enforcement. He is not in a classroom. He is out in the hallway with our system. Um, Joe's got it on his YouTube site. It's also on X. You can find him on YouTube. It's Joe_Lanou on YouTube. And if you click on the live link at the top on this page, you'll see it. It says Uvalde. Go watch that, and it's an eye opener.
Give me
Because
one second. Give me one
I've,
second.
I've had people say, "Well, that's a bold
On the
statement. How
screen
can
as
you
you're
say
talking.
that?" I even had a meeting with my sheriff about 3-4 weeks ago, and I made that comment. And he looked back at me. He's like, "Well, that's a bold comment. How can you say that?" And I threw the timeline out at him. He's like, "Well, damn, you know what you're talking about." And I said, "Yeah." I said, "You're basically forcing," because I used to work at this agency. I said, "You're forcing our guys in a confrontation with him." And he said, "Well, that's what you want." I said, "Absolutely. That's exactly what you want." Um, so yeah. So then going on with our system is, if God forbid there's an incident, we're there. We're there to help with reunification. We're there to help with any kind of counseling needs that may be needed. Um, we're there. We don't
Yeah.
just install and walk away, say, "Have a good day." We're there.
So really quick, someone came in late to the live. Bullish said, please provide a brief description of 3D response and what your system entails. Thanks. So really quick, Bullish Life, forgive us. So all this is on every platform. We are about to show the trailer and the description of what it does and everything that he's described. We did show pictures. He gave in-depth description of what it does, the seconds that count that are saved. And Bullish Life said, please, pleasure to meet you, John. Every second does count. And the panic button that he was talking about, and that's what he just finished describing, is that had that been in place, that would have changed everything, no matter what the response time would have been, because they would have been protected with the 3D response system. So forgive me, keep going. I mean, we've got like 15 minutes. Just
Okay.
keep going as
Yeah.
much
No,
as you
you're
want.
fine.
Like
Yeah.
15 minutes
So
until we have any questions. And until then, you can keep talking until 8:30.
Okay.
if you want.
Yeah. So, in almost the same scenario with the incident that happened in 2023 in Tennessee, um, that person shot the glass out and walked through. So, with the 3D response system, with the window enhancement, that don't happen. Um, yeah. So, like I said, we look at every school shooting to see if our system would have played a part and if it didn't. And if you go to the website, this is also an eye opener. If you go to the website at 3dresponse.com and at the top click on in the media, there's a lot of podcasts that Jason has done, some news interviews, but there's a side by side video, and what it is active shooter training with our system and without. So without our system, is I think the elimination time was around 5 minutes. It took the officer to find the suspect uh, and eliminate them. It was like right at 5 minutes. With our system, because of the way it's designed, using existing cameras, that are pretty much in every school, we basically Google Map those responding officers to the shooter. Say, when the officer walks in, say, hey, officer, this is through the intercom. Hey, officer, we see you. Go to the end of the hallway, turn left, go down 3 doors, and the shooter's to the right in room 102, whatever the case may be. Where if you don't have that, they're looking, and if there's not, active gunfire, it can take a little bit. And, like I forget the screen name, I apologize, but like he said, or she said, seconds matter. A lot can happen in 60 seconds. Uh, so
Yeah,
then,
so up on the screen, I just pulled up a video. I was trying to follow along and pull up stuff as you were talking, so forgive me for not being able to keep up as quickly.
no, and you're fine. And
So
actually, if you want to turn on the volume on this is actually a
I
good
will.
interview that Jason done.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Thank you so much for being patient with me. And Bullish, thank you. And here you go, you guys. Here we go. I'm going to back it up and turn it up.
School should be a safe place.
That statement seems like a no-brainer, right? But the fact is, school districts have to be proactive about it.
So you're going to need to sign in, and here's the pass.
Maybe even try a new approach.
We are first and foremost focused on how do we have a layered approach to safety and security.
Lakeville area schools has made this a priority, from Superintendent Michael Bauman to the school board to the public. In 2019, they passed a levy and bond referendum that helped add an additional school resource officer to the middle schools. They set up an anonymous reporting system and added a psychologist to handle threat assessments.
We know that the kids that have been active shooters have had struggles, and at some point, maybe if someone would have intervened in a different way, maybe we could have headed that off. And I do feel in our district that we've had numerous situations over the last few years that we have made an impact on kids.
Reality is, not all threats get caught in time. So Lakeville went one step further.
When we came up with the system, we wanted to answer all those what if questions.
They partnered with Minnesota-based 3D Response Systems.
We understand that the prevention is the most important piece, and to develop those relationships with the people in your building is the most important thing you can do. Now, if one slips through the cracks, which in a population...
I wanted to pause this real quick, John, and as soon as this video is done playing, I want to play the actual 3D response package, and then we'll come back to you. So that way this interview gives context, then it shows the system. And I always believe in the power of repetition. You go with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead.
Do it. Let's do it.
Of like this school of 1,500 kids, but it's very possible. Then our system comes into play to keep as many people safe as we possibly can.
3D Response Systems is a multi-layered design to get the police there faster and provide tools for the people inside to survive. The company was started by police, firefighters, educators, and parents. It takes the active shooter training, run, hide, fight, and adds 3 things they say makes it more effective: cover, concealment, and communication.
Cover is something that's going to protect you from like a bullet. Concealment is something that I can't see you. Communication is having constant active communication to keep you in the know.
Almost all of it is out of sight, so you don't lose the feeling of a teaching space. The only visible signs are the police buttons on the wall in every room, in every building.
You simply push a button, and when you push that button, you've sent a text message to dispatch that says police needed at room 102, Lakeville North High School. And each room, when they hit their button, a new text message will be sent. It also activates 1,200 pounds of magnetic pressure on your door. So you get a nice tight seal and you're not going to get through that door. And then lastly, it sets off the alert system both inside and outside the school.
Hidden ballistic panels can be pulled out of the walls if needed, and cameras help the officers responding get to where the threat is faster.
That's part of the communication piece that comes in. So the teachers know exactly where the intruder is. When the first officer arrives, they can talk to the officer and say he's on the 3rd floor by room 302.
Lakeville has installed the system in both high schools and is working its way through every school in the district. A system they hope they never have to use. But having it is peace of mind, because just hoping it never happens isn't a solution.
We're fully aware that you can't stop the first one. I mean, it's a reactive situation, but you can stop the next 5.
Rena Sargentopoulos, KARE 11 News.
Well, Lakeville is the first public school district in the country to use this Minnesota-based safety system. It is already in place at Christian Heritage Academy, a private school.
Okay, let me pause it right there, John. Now, Christian Academy School, that's the one that you had said they raised the funds in 5 weeks, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So remember
Yeah.
to talk about that when we come back to it. I did tell them we'd finish watching this, then we'll watch that. I think it's like a minute and some change. The video one more time, and then we'll come back and let you, say whatever it is you want to say. We'll say some closing things, and thank you guys for commenting. You guys, we thank you for being here and asking questions. Put your questions in the comment section. We will address them. He will address them. So let's keep going. I think this one's about done, and then we'll start the other one, and then we'll let you do your thing.
Also based in Lakeville.
All right, so that's that one, and that one's done.
Beautiful.
Dadgummit, stop it. All right, let me take this down, and I'll pull the other one up.
Law enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way.
I see you entering, take a right. You're going to proceed down the long hall, all the way to the end. You're going to go till the end where you're intersect to the classrooms. Keep going, I see you moving forward. Subject is held up in classroom 203.
Enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way.
Yeah, that was a snippet of what I was talking about a minute ago as far as the neutralizing the threat. So that's you really need to go check out the video that Joe done on me, Joe, and Jason done on Uvalde. That's a big eye.
Let me pull that up also in front of you. Give me 1 second. I've got him up right here. Let me put it back on stage because I was trying to pull that up when you were talking at the same time. So I'm glad you brought it back up. So I'm on his page right now. This is Joe Lanu. You guys, please go subscribe to his YouTube channel. And definitely, you want to help keep the lights on. There's how you can donate to the grand jury. It's a great show.
Yeah,
so now,
so if
which
you
one
click
did you say to go to?
If you click on the live link right there below his picture, and then scroll down just a little bit more, right there where it says Uvalde. That's the show that Joe put together.
Okay, so it's like an hour long. So you guys, please go
Yeah.
check that out. We'll put the link in the description. Let me do that now, and keep going, John. Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
No, you're fine. So like I was saying, so God forbid there is an incident, we're there to help them in whatever they need help with. So it's always a question, and I get it. And I mentioned I I hinted on this in the beginning, is cost. And what I have found when I started doing this, Jason told me, he said, you're going to find out that keeping kids safe and alive is political. And I thought, you're crazier than hell. He's not.
He's not.
Um, he's not. It is political. Uh, I mean, it goes without saying. I'm beginning to be more like, and this is scary too, more like Jason and Joe than I ever thought I would be. But
Joe, wait, Joe,
fact,
cover your ears. He didn't really say that. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah. Oh, I give him hell. Anyway, facts
Me
are
too.
facts. There's one party they want to go after guns, and we've been having this argument and discussion for over 20 years, and they ain't going nowhere. Keep having your gun control discussion, but we need to do something in the meantime. I said this earlier in the show. I'm going to say it again. Schools are wasting money. Well, I don't want to say wasting. Schools are spending money on false senses of security, metal detectors, and AI weapon detection. Um, I'm not going to I'm not going to bad talk any company that does that. I think there's a place for each of it. But the question is okay, either one of them goes off, then what? What are you going to do? It's not going to stop a bullet. It's a notification system. Cameras are evidentiary. Um, I know I know in my school district, they had some money issues, and
Mhm.
they had to fire or lay off. I think it was around a little over 300 staff members. The company that they used for metal detectors, if I remember correctly, suggested at least 4 people to man a metal detector. Well, when you have staff shortages, you
Oh
can't
my
do that.
goodness. 4 to manage a
Yeah.
metal detector.
But
Wow.
I'm thinking about this one night, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm saying this now. If you're sitting at home watching TV and there's an armed suspect or armed subject running around in your area, your county, your neighborhood, whatever, what are you looking at? You're looking at bulletins or news flashes or breaking news. So and so, armed and dangerous, do not approach, call police. Why are we asking teachers and school administrators to do this at school? That makes no sense.
Right.
Um, Teachers and school administrators are not trained in dealing with armed subjects. They're not. Um, when you
And
get in,
not to mention the cost of training too, right? This
well,
is just a logical system. The 3D response system to me could cut out metal detectors,
right,
hopefully. Even the thought of arming teachers, like I think I love the way you said it the best. It really cancels out the Second Amendment conversation and, taking guns away or, trying to take away Second Amendment rights or arming
right.
teachers. And neither one makes sense. So this system makes sense, so keep going.
Well, and you're opening up a door for a lot of things that people don't think about. Are you going to teach them uh, the use of force continuum? What happens if the subject drops their weapon? Are you going to give the teachers less lethal? You're talking about people who have been trained to educate, who have been trained, or I shouldn't say trained, who have learned to care about their students. So if something happens, is a teacher actually going to be able to pull the trigger on one of their own students? There lies hesitation. What will hesitation get you? It's going to get you killed.
And not to mention a whole host of other things that could come up too. So Bullish
Yeah.
asked, which state or states does 3D response currently work with schools in? So Uvalde is in which state?
No, no, we're not in. We're the
I mean,
only
not Uvalde.
state.
I'm sorry. The Christian. You're in North Carolina. I know, right?
So right now we are in 19 schools in Minnesota. Uh, After the Annunciation shooting last year, and since Thanksgiving, we've got 3 signed contracts at 3 different Catholic schools. To answer the question, right now we're in Minnesota. That's what we're trying to do. I'm trying to get it here in North Carolina, but any state whatsoever. And when
It
I
can
started
go
this,
in.
I
Yeah,
told Jason, I'm on the
we'll
East
go
Coast.
anywhere.
I'll do Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, North, South Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia. I'll do it. We do have a representative in New Jersey, but anywhere.
So let me
Uh,
just do a shout out really quick. Sui Life, I don't have your profile up, but Sui Life, I believe, is in New Jersey. So, and they are very interested. They might be reaching out to you.
yeah,
So, Bullish, you heard that right now 19 schools in Minnesota. And remember, the Christian Academy, they raised the funds in 5 weeks. So it can be done. All right, keep going.
yeah.
Um,
So we actually have somebody in New Jersey, but if you want to message me, I will give you Heather's information.
Perfect.
But she's in New Jersey. So anyway, yeah, and was talking about cost, and I get it, but anytime a school wants to put in a swimming pool, they find the money. If they want to
Amen.
redo
Booster
they
Club will
want to
raise it.
right. If they want to redo their football field, they find the money. Um, the money, yes, it's an issue, but it's not going to be hard to come by. You've got in Minnesota, talking about them. One of the representatives out in Minnesota, his name is Elliot Engen. He actually toured a school, and when he walked out, he's like, "Why the hell isn't this in every school?"
Amen.
He authored a bill. It's called the SHIELD Act, and the SHIELD is acronym for Safe Haven in Every Local District. Right now, it's under HF 15, like Henry Frank 15, and that what that does is it's a bill that basically puts our system in new schools. So or actually toward the end of last year, Jason gave some tours to some state representatives, and he walked back in. They were in an office, and he walked back in and said, "Y'all got any questions?" It was like, "No, we're in here trying to figure out how to make this a building code." So they're actually, as we speak, they're working to make 3D response a building code, just like the fire alarm system is.
Yes, and I remember Joe saying that. So if I could just interject here really quick. So you guys, let's circle back to the cost of it and all of that and what he referenced that, one school raised it in 5 weeks. Yes, the booster club could raise funds if you want to, update the football
Yeah,
field or
they're
whatever. So wait. So let's think about this. I think at the end of the day, when you consider the cost of trying to arm every teacher, plus the training, plus if something happens, if they manage to know how to get out of the situation and subdue the assailant, there's still, if there's a shooting, there's probably going to be a suspension of the teacher. I mean, it's a lot of cost. So this seems like the most logical way when it comes to cost. So if you really want to think about cost, oh, it might be too expensive, just think about, well, how much is it going to cost to do this, that, and the third? And I think it should be in legislation. So keep going.
Yeah. So any state can adopt that bill. So if you go to just look, you can Google it, Minnesota HF 15. You can copy the links if you know people that are in those positions, or talk to them and say, look at this. We can adopt it. Only thing you got to change is your state name. I think 13 other states have adopted it, but they've just not moved forward with it. But then
And
you've
remember,
got
guys, that's the SHIELD Act,
it's
safe
called
haven in every local
local
district, right?
district. Yeah.
Yep.
There's bond referendums, and I know people kind of roll their eyes. Well, we're already taxed enough. So we took one school in Lakeville and took that cost and broke it down, and what it ended up being was $1.49 a month for 10 years per
What?
per
That's
taxpayer
it?
per taxpayer in that school district. Yes, ma'am. $1.49 a month for 10 years.
And who wouldn't check that box at the bottom to donate when you say donate to the campaign of this person, donate $2 to this? So, real quick, Bullish said networking in the school safety space is essential due to the political nature, as you described. Recommended Max Skater in Florida, father of Parkland student killed, is a leader in this space. Thank you for that tip.
So
Thank you.
Jason actually spoke to and I don't remember the name, but Jason actually spoke to a father to a victim at Parkland, and it may be the same one.
Really? Oh,
Yeah,
really? Did you
yeah,
hear that, Bullish? Did you hear what he just said? Okay, keep going.
yeah. So, and I've actually been in touch with the governor's office in Florida, and what I found out was I've got to contact each school district. Uh, so I've got to, I need to revisit that because something don't sound right. But anyway, but yeah, Christian Heritage Academy. Now keep in mind too, their cost was a lot less because their building is not, as big as a public school.
Hmm.
But to give you an idea, and I know it's going to come up, is people are going to ask about the cost. When we did Lakeville high schools, now this was several years ago, so obviously stuff has gone up. But we done 17 schools in Lakeville, and I think it was like 16.5 million. Elementary schools are going to be less than high schools. Um, that's getting into the weeds as to why, but it basically boils down to the amount of ballistic material that's being used. But yeah, elementary schools are cheaper. Um, if you put it in while they're building a school, it's much cheaper. Uh, but
So
yeah,
let
middle and
me
high schools are going to be a little bit more. But now you could probably do an average high or middle school. You could probably do an average one, probably somewhere around 1.5 million.
Okay. So Bullish commented again. He said, great. He has access to funds to support schools through the grant received from the White House in honor of his son, Alex. So Bullish, go check out John Cox on X if you're on X. And then Joe Lanu. You can reach out to any of us and we'll get you in touch with him. Man, you're amazing. So, I mean, that's a resource, I think, for schools to be able to implement and install. And I did want to ask you, when you're talking about cost, does a school have an option to finance, through a bank or something? Would
Yeah.
they? Perfect. So there's options, guys. It's not like, hey, you got to give us this money. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
they're
why.
willing to come out and talk to you, go through a demonstration. Like, this is amazing. Keep going.
Yeah, so there's options for funding. You've got bond referendums. You can go the state route, which is obviously going to be a lot more red tape. But yeah, you can do that. There are lease options. We've got some lenders that have agreed to do this. Obviously, they're going to look at the school's, financial stuff. I mean, that's a no-brainer. But yeah, there are options to do it. It can be done, and it's about prioritization. I'm looking at a legal pad right here of a private school here where I live, and I always try to do research on, their budget and stuff like that, what they're spending on school security. And I'm not saying it wasn't needed, because they didn't. I mean, they hadn't heard about 3D until just earlier today, but they spent uh, the money that they spent on renovation of a playground, add-on some add-on, some climb-on stuff for the playground, some other things, visual and cosmetic stuff for the school. They they easily pay for our system, and it's about prioritization. Um, our phone rings after an incident and not before. Uvalde is up to, I think it's like $37 billion in lawsuits, um, and I mean, it's a no-brainer, people. I don't know if it'll show up here. A couple weeks ago, I set up. I didn't know I could do it till a couple weeks ago, but I can set up Google alerts, and I put in some keywords, key phrases, and so I'm going to show. I'm going to try to. I don't know that it's going to.
If you were able to turn the green screen off behind you, it would probably show up. But if you could send
Well, I
me,
think you can see it right there.
I can
So,
see it now. Yeah, we
okay,
can see
so
it.
all of those are Google alerts. Those are obviously separate emails. In each email, there are anywhere from 3 to 10 separate incidents that involve weapon on campus, weapon found on a student, weapon in the school, uh, a shooting plot that was stopped, and that's been since what I just showed you has been since 3:30 today.
That's a
And
lot.
I get them every day. So my point is that it's happening a lot more than what people realize.
Yeah,
Luckily, they're being stopped, but that's how, I mean, you got that many incidents, it's a matter of time before it happens again.
gotcha.
Um, it's
Are there?
uh, it's eye opening.
It is eye opening. Man, this has been a great live stream. I think, is there any closing statements you want to make? Closing thoughts, the next 5 minutes. Bullish, thanks for coming through. And everybody that came through. Was this Bear B1? Bear blasting, maybe, I don't know. So yeah, panic buttons are important. You guys, thank you for commenting, thank you for coming through. You guys, make sure you go check out John Cox, Joe Lanu, a lot of J's here. We got Jason, John, and Joe. What do you
Yeah.
know? All right, so why don't you spend the next 4 to 5 minutes, your final statements, and then we'll close on out. You guys, my name is Regina Connell with West Virginia Wire, and tonight we had our special guest, Mr. John Cox, with a 3D response in North Carolina. And you did a fantastic job. I thought you were amazing. So
Well,
go
thank you.
ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it in a great big nutshell. I'm on X. I'm on Facebook. Uh, if you got something to write on, it's my email is jcox@3dresponse.com. Uh, you can contact me there, or again on X is 3D response underscore NC. Uh, so yeah, I mean, give me a shout and I'll do whatever. And also, if you go to the website 3dresponse.com, at the top you can actually print off a PDF form, and that also gives you a snapshot of the system as well. So, but yeah, May of this year will be 2 years I've been doing this, and I was fortunate enough to have met Joe on Lanu doing his stuff. He has been instrumental in helping us. Jason has been. We're like brothers now. I talk to him at least 3 or 4 times a week, if not text. Um, he's super, and it. And again, I'm going to reiterate this: if I did not believe in this system, I would not be backing it. But one of the things, and I meant to say this early on when I was giving you, my background, is I have become very, very passionate about this because, as I stated, I am now a member of a group that no parent wants to be a member of, and it comes at a high uh, rate, a high price. And knowing that this is out there, and we have never said that it's going to stop a shooting. We have never said that. We're not saying that it's going to 100% end up with prevention of loss of life. It is a reactionary system. But you look at Uvalde, 100% no lives lost. We can also, being transparent, we can look at other incidents and say, yeah. And I've been where I don't want y'all at, so I feel like I can say this. You may have one or two, or whatever the number may be, but you are at least going to be able to mitigate the loss of life. And after I think it was after the Brown University shooting, I heard somebody say, or maybe it was another school shooting, I forget. Forgive me. But anyway, a parent said,
Good.
what do we have to do to help our kids come home at the end of the day? He wasn't on the Second Amendment. He wasn't on stopping a school shooting. I mean, we all want that. But his question was, what can we do to give our kids protection? And we are the only company in the United States that's doing what we're doing.
I agree.
It's just a matter of getting the word out to the right people.
Agreed. I had never heard of the system. Like I said earlier in the stream, I was blown away when I was a guest on Joe Lanu that he mentioned before on the grand jury, and I saw that and I was like, wait a minute, what am I looking at? I went back and watched it a couple times, then I slid up in Joe's DMs. I was like, what is this? And you had hit me up, and when you mentioned Jason, I thought you were talking about a different Jason, and then it clicked because I know a bunch of Jasons. So I know a YouTuber named Jason, then this Jason, and I'm sure there's a couple more Jasons. So do you have any other closing thoughts? You guys saw the website. We've got everything in the description. If you have any questions, please reach out to John Cox, to Jason, to anyone. Bullish, thank you for coming through. Everyone else that came through and commented and supports this, you guys start talking about it. That's all you got to do is start talking about it. And then people are going to be like, when they, hopefully, the school shootings will stop, but there is a system in place where we don't have to have metal detectors for kids and stuff like that. So it was a true honor to have you here on West Virginia Wire. I'm going to let you say the final words and then we're going to close out.
Yeah, no, thank you again. And anybody that's watching or watches in, even after the live, thank you. If you've got any questions, shoot me an email. I'm really good about getting back to my emails and whatnot. And, whatever I can do to help you get this going in your school district, I'm in 100%. Like I said, if I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't be wasting your time nor mine. But this is, I'm not gonna say it's the answer, but it's definitely the closest I've ever seen.
Well, let me say it. I think it is the answer. So I'll say it for him. I do believe it is the answer. So you guys, please reach out to John and tell everybody bye. We thank you for joining. And what a pleasure this has been. And hey, you guys, stay tuned. Maybe John will give me another chance to maybe give you some updates on what's going on. And, you guys come back to the table and tell us who you've been talking to and who's interested in this system, because it takes a network of it. John's only one man. Jason's only one man. So let's jump into the fray and help this situation out. John, thank you so much. Wave to everybody. Tell them we will see them. We'll see you on the flip flop.
Yep. Thank y'all a lot.
Regina Report. Let's talk the truth. Let's hear you speak. From the river to the ridge, every voice, every street. Regina Report.
Law enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way.
I see you entering. Take a right. You're going to proceed down the long hall, all the way to the end. You're going to go till the end where you're intersect to the classrooms. Keep going. I see you moving forward. Subject is held up in classroom 203.
Enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way. Law enforcement is on the way.